personal suit to make me his lunatic. I've capped to him and by faith of man. I know my price, I'm worth no better place, but he is loving his own pride and purposes, invades them with bombast circumstance, horribly stuffed with epithets of war, and in conclusion, none suits my mediators. For certes, he said, I've already chosen my officer. What was he? Forsooth, a great arithmetician, one Cassio, a Florentine, almost damned in their fairway that never set a squadron in the field. Nor the vivid division of a battle knows more than a spinster unless a bookish lyric, wherein that toss consults can propose. As masterly as him, if prattle without practice, with all his authorship, but he, sir, had the election of I, of whom have seen the proof, at Rhodes, at Cyprus, and other grounds. Christian heathen must be lead and can't. By debitor and creditor this count caster, in he in good time must his lunatic be. And I, God bless the monk, his lordship ancient.
Why? Why there's no remedy? 'Tis the curse of the surface. Preferment goes by letter and affection, and not by your gradation, where each second stood heir to first. Now, sir, bejudge yourself, whether I, any just term, am affined to love the more. Oh, sir, content you. I follow him to serve upon my turn. We can all be masters. All masters can truly be followed. And you shall mark many a duteous and neat-looking knave, and his doting on his own obscurious bondage, and wears out his time, much like his master's ass. Naught but provender, where he's old and cashiered. Whipped me such honest knaves. Others, who crimson forms and visages of duty, keep yet their hearts attending on themselves, and do well vie by them, and when they have hung to their coats, do themselves homage. These fellow have some soul, and such a one I do profess myself. For, sir, as it's true you are Rodrigo, were I the more, but not with Iago. In following him, I follow but myself. Heaven is my judge, not for love nor duty, but seemingly for my peculiar ends. And when my outward action does demonstrate the native act and figure of thy heart, in compliment extern, 'tis not long after I'll wear my heart upon my sleeve, with doors to peck at. I am not of
Bitterness. I have looked upon the world for 4 times 7 years, and since I could distinguish betwixt the benefit and the injury, I never found man that knew how to love himself. If I would say, I would drown myself for the love of beginning him. I would change my humanity with a baboon. Virtue, I think, 'tis in ourselves that we are thus or thus. Our bodies are our gardens, to the which our wills are gardeners. So that if we will plant nettles, so let us set hyssop a weed of time, supply it with one gender of herbs, or distract it with many, either to have it sterile with idleness, or manured with industry, while the power and corrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poison another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to the most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to call our rage emotions, our carnal stings our invited lusts. Thereof I take this that you call love to be a set aside.
It is merely a lust of the blood and a permission of the will. Come, be a man. Run thyself, run captain blind puppy. I confess me thy friend, and I confess me next to thy servant with cables of durable toughness. I can never but thee the now, put money in thy purse. Follow thou the rules. Deceit thy favour with the usurped thee, I say, put money in thy purse. It cannot be that just a moment, don't continue her love to the more, put money in thy purse. Nor he to her, it was a violent commencement, and no something asked with registration, put but money in thy purse. These more changeable in their wills, fill thy purse with money. The food that is now is as lustrous as lotus, shall be to impurity, as bitter as Coram Shakespeare. She must have changed when she says to this body, she will find the error of the choice. She must have changed, she must therefore make money. If thou wilt need drown thyself, do it more delicate when in drowning. Make all the money those count, it's thankfully in a fail far betwixt an errand barbarian and a superstitious Phoenician, not to half my wit and all the tribe of hell. So shalt enjoy her, therefore make money. A pox of drowning thyself, it is clean out of the way. Seek therefore to be hanged in compassion, no joy, and to be drowned and go without her.
Thou art sure of me. Go, make money. I have told thee often, and I retell thee again and again. I hate the more. My cause is hearted, thine have no less reason. Let us be conjunctive in our revenge against him. If thou cannot control him, thou dost thyself a pleasure, me a sport. There are many events in the room of time which will be delivered. Traverse, go, provide thy money. We will have more of this tomorrow. Adieu. Thus do I ever make my fool my pass, for I my own day knowledge should profane. If I would, time it spent with such a snipe, but for my sport and profit, I hate the more. And it is thought abroad that 'twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if be true, but I have a mere suspicion in that kind will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio is a proper man, let me see now, to get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? Let's see. After some time, to abuse a fellow's ear, that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and a smooth disposed, to be suspected, framed, to make women false. The more is of free and open nature, that bids men honest that, but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it! It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
He takes her by the palm. Aye, well said. Whisper, with as little a web as this, will I ensnare as great a fly as Cassio. Aye, smile upon her, do. I will guide thee in thine own courtship. Yet again 'tis so indeed. If such tricks as these strip you out of your lieutenantry, it had been better you had not kissed your 3 fingers so oft, which now again you are most apt to play the sir in. Very good, well kissed, an excellent courtesy. 'Tis so indeed. Yet again your fingers to your lips, would they were clyster pipes for your sake.
Blessed fix end. The wine she drinks is made of grapes. Only if she's been blessed. She will never have loved him more. Blessed pudding. 'Tis no say her powder on the palm of his hand. 'Tis not marked out. Lechery. By this hand, an index and obscure prologue for the history of lost and found thoughts, that They met so near with their lips that the breath embraced together. Phineas thought, Rodrigo! When these mutualities are marshaled away, hard at hand, comes the master and main exercise. In corporate conclusion, pish! But, sir, be you ruled by me. I brought you from Venice. Watch you tonight, I'll lay it upon you. Cassio knows enough. Do some occasion to anger Cassio either by speaking too loud or tainting his discipline or from whatever costly place in which may favorably minister.
Sir, he's a rash and very sudden in choler, and haply he may strike at you. Provoke him, or even out of the will. I cause these Cyprus to mutiny. Those through qualification shall come into no true taste again, but this flaunting of Cassio. So, you have a shorter journey to your desires, and by the means, I shall have to prefer to them, an independent most profitably removed, without which there are no extent of our prosperity.
That Cassio loves her, I do well believe it, that she loves him. 'Tis apt and of great credit, the more, howbeit that I endure him not, is of a constant, loving, noble nature, and I dare think he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband.
Now, as I do love her too, not through absolute loss through peradventure, for him that sound accountant, for as great is a sin, but partly to let him to die in my revenge, for that I do suspect the lusty more, that hath leaped into my seat.
What thing to do is this poor trash of Venice, whom I trash for his quick hunting, stand in the pretty lawn? I'll have old Michael Cassio on the hip, abuse him to the more in the rank garb, for I fear Cassio with my knight's cap too. Make the more love me, and thank me, and reward me.
'Tis here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen till used.
If I can fasten but one cup upon him, with that which he had been drunk tonight already, he'll be as full of quarrel and offence as my young mistress dog.
As I'm an honest man, I thought you had received some bodily wound. There's more sense in that than in reputation. Reputation is an idol in most false imposition, oft got without merit and lost without deserving. You have lost no reputation whatsoever, unless you repute yourself such a loser. What man? There are ways to recover the general again. You are now but cast in his mood, a punishment more than in policy than in malice. Even as so one would beat his offenceless dog, to outright an imperious lion. Suit him again, and he's yours.
You're any other man may be drunk at a time, man. I'll tell you what you shall do. Our general's wife is now the general, may say so in this respect, but that he have devoted and given up himself to the contemplation, mark, and denotement of her parts and graces. Confess yourself freely to her, importune her help to put you in your place again. She is of so free, so kind, so apt, so blessed a disposition, she holds it in her vice not to do more than she has requested. This broken joint between you and her husband entreat her to splinter, and my fortunes against any lay worth naming, this crack of your love will grow stronger than it was before.
And what's he then that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give, and honest, probable to thinking, and indeed the course to win the more again. But 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit, for she's as framed, as fruitful as the three elements. and for her to win the more again, weren't to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin. His soul is so enfettered to her love that she may make, unmake, do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. How am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course, directly to his good, divinity of hell? And whilst this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and for her to plead strongly to the more, I shall pour this pestilence into his ear, that she repeals him for her body's lust. And however much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the more. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all. I have rubbed this young quat almost to the sense, and he grows angry.
Now whether he kill Cassio or Cassio him, or each do kill the other, every way makes my day.
Live Roderigo, he calls me to a restitution large of gold and jewels I borrowed from him as gifts to Desdemona.
It must not be.
If Cassio do remain, he has in daily beauty in his life that makes me ugly.
Besides, the more may falls me to him, and there I stand much in peril.
No.
He must die.